Alrighty, we're gonna go ahead and get started. Hi, Sabina. I see that you're there. I'm gonna be sending some information via the chat. If you have questions, I would love to receive them via the chat or go ahead and ask them. You can open up your microphones. I'm Connie Nieto. I'm one of the Miami trainers.
Perfect.
Um,
Okay.
I do like to share with you and see you. So this is who I am. Um, I am going to do a presentation on Remine. I was invited to present to you. Letty asked me to come along. I do want to share some info myself. Um, if you needed to contact me, my contact details are found at miamirealtors.com/Connie, or you can simply search Connie Nieto, and I've sent that through. I'm starting on the homepage because up here on the search bar, you can always search just about anything to do with real estate, or everything that begins with real estate is here at miamirealtors.com. So if you needed to find something like IMAP or information, you could do so. And you could also find Remine. Remine does have a landing page, and I do like to show that to you as well. So if you have questions or you would like to find tutorials or information, here you go. I've shared in the chat as well. We have a series of classes that we provide with Remine. And the series of classes that we provide with Remine consist from prospecting and farming to Remine Pro. We have a Remine mobile class, a virtual presentation of your listing, and more. So via the chat as well, if you are on your desktop or laptop, you will be able to get this Remind series information that I'm going to be sending out. So give me 1 second here. I just sent it through. It'll take a couple of seconds and should be available right now for you guys to be able to get it. You do not have to be on screen if you choose not to. And if you do, we can go ahead and add on. It's up to you. I do see some of you are available, right? And I'm going to take a minute and just take a picture of like our Brady Bunch look here just to get it, right? And to have it available. I do want you to know that you can reach out to me if you have questions, and I will be trying to provide this recording afterward. I'll send it to Letty, and she can share it with the rest of you. Alrighty. Remine. What is it? Remine is a wonderful, comprehensive, intuitive, modern MLS. It's a premium tax service. It has nationwide and statewide information. It's an all-in-one tool designed to be available to you, to make it easy, to be able to allow you to present items. You can even create a CMA in the system. So it's a one-stop place and location if you're looking to take full advantage of everything all at once. Now, to get to it, you would come into the homepage and log into the Miami Gateway. And from the Gateway dashboard, this is what the Remine icon looks like, Remine Pro. As Miami members, you do all have access to Remine Pro. That was granted to Miami members as of April 2020. It is a saving of more than $1,000, I believe, $200 per year. So it is something to consider taking advantage of. Don't worry if your camera and microphone isn't working. I try not to distract. I presented myself and said hi at the beginning. I'll do it again at the end. But you can always send your questions via the chat. I'm trying to make sure that I see it as well as present. So I'll look at the chat and see your questions there. Once you click over in Remine, it will open up. It does take a couple of seconds to load, right? And you will then see your daily page. That can be, of course, personalized to you. It is to give you updated information. Note that it does have a little coffee cup there. Like any system, when you first use it, you have to make it yours. And to make it yours, you do so on the lower left-hand side where you see your name here. Notice that mine has my photo. I'm going to show you how you can do that. You can click here and Remine, click on your name, and notice that you all should have pro access. And we're going to click onto the settings here with a little gear. And this is where we're going to talk for a couple of minutes to make sure that you make it yours. The first thing I'm going to show you is, of course, where mine says change photo. If you've never logged in, this is where you would add your photo. Next is some account information where you can put in a preferred contact email and preferred phone number. And that can be done simply by editing the account and popping in your information. So typing it in, and I'll show you quickly. You just go ahead and type it in. You would do the same for the email and click on save. Next items, you can add in a Moody Analytics integration, which is information for commercial. If you're interested, you can click and manage and see what they have to offer. And then you have some display preferences. This display will be on your homepage in Remine, on your customer client portal, on your Remine generated PDFs and reports. So what you put here will display on your information. So you can click to add it here, and you're going to note that the office information is grayed out because we can't change that, but that you can come in and add your license number, your display name, and if you've earned designations and certifications, what a great way or location to display those, your email address and phone number, and then any additional information. So in additional info, sometimes people ask me, well, what do I put? I see you have your NRDS number and that you speak Spanish. Well, if you specialize in anything, if you work in a designated area where you feel that you are it, you know everything, you're the professional they should seek. If there is something that you work in that's a niche, or you specialize in, you should add it there so it just captures their eye, and you could put it here in additional info. If you have an assistant, if you work with someone, that's the place to display the info. Then you click on save once you've updated that. Next over, you do have a social profile. This social profile can be created once and then cannot be changed, right? But it's a way for you to be able to connect with potential customers. It's a URL, so you can share it as a link in your email signatures, on social media, and so much more. Now, what's great about this, I want to show you. I'm going to copy mine because I think it's always best to see it and then see what you would do with it. So I'm going to open up an additional tab and show you mine. And remember, I'm not a realtor, I'm your instructor, but I put in something that's important for me. We've been working on these matrix tips to facilitate the process of using matrix. And instead of telling you to go take a 2-hour class, sometimes you just need to remember something small like an auto email, how to generate it or how to stop it from going out, or if you can delete it, etc. So we've created these tips. So I put in our message on the tip on the back, right? Of course, my brokerage logo, which for me is the association, my photo, want to explore listings. This is a way to get to capture information, my welcome details and my message, all of my social media and where they can reach me so that they can click and obtain information, even my WhatsApp. And I'm going to ask you, do I have any WhatsApp users here?
Yes, we for the most part all do.
You see, so did anybody use LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook? So if you have all of that or more, you can have this one more aggregator site page created for you for free. So if you have Remine Pro, you have this aggregator site available. What are aggregator sites? Aggregator sites are locations on the World Wide Web where people can find your information. The more places you pop up, the more you're going to be found when they go into Google and Bing. So it better assist you coming up further and higher up. And the next thing is, it also helps the dynamic on being able to be searched and found quickly, and then connecting the dots. So you have all of these social sites. Where are they connected? Well, aggregator sites and your website could be that location. An electronic business card, etc., could be a place like that, where you would put not only your website, but you would put all these other locations where you are at. And what I mean by that is, this is a place where they would come, and if they feel comfortable with Facebook, they would click to Facebook and connect. They would click to Twitter and see what I'm doing on Twitter. They would click to YouTube and see my YouTube channel. They would click to Instagram, LinkedIn, or WhatsApp and be able to connect to me in the location that they're interested in, but never leaving me. If they made it to my site, to my aggregator site, they would connect to another place where they could get information and we can still be connected. Does that make sense? So this is for free, and it's recommended that everyone have aggregator sites so you can create it. The other thing I love is that it does have this info here where they can click and connect, click and call, right? It is mobile friendly. So if they do open it up in the mobile, right? And I can send it to you here so you can see it as well. And it does have some additional info ready to find your next home, and they can start the journey, right? And connect to you. And then of course, put their name and email and sign up, and this would come to you. Coming back to Remine, you would personalize the URL here. You do it once and then you keep it and you can send it out. Next important is of course the logo and the branding. So here in the logo area, you can delete and you can change and you can add in your logo. And then background photos. You have these images to select from, or you can choose to change the photo, upload a photo. So if you have a picture that you've taken of a property, something that you would like to use, you can simply select it, add it in and save. And now that would be the background that would show up on that site that you've created. For the messages that show, you do have the welcome area that you can edit and you can put in your information. Now you have 1,000 text items here. Some of you will have a small blurb explaining what your business does, the area that you provide service in, etc. Well, you can copy and paste it from there. Maybe you want to do something different here. You can add that something different, but you can put in your message here. Maybe you specialize working with an investor, foreigners from a certain location, or you can help them, or you have a contact that assists foreigners that are looking for visas. You can put something like that in here and save. Social media. So I'm going to save here. Social media. Remember the links you saw on the page I had? These are driven by those links. This is what you put into here. Notice that I didn't have Snapchat and Google Maps. I just don't have that. So you can add it here, and when you don't have, won't show as if you don't have it. It only adds the icon if you do have it. So if you have a Facebook page, I'm going to go and delete mine just for a second so I can show you how easy it is to do. You just add the tab, right? Open up your Facebook business page. And if you're interested, if any of you have started social media, or you want to a walkthrough on what to do, we've just revamped and restarted a series this year where we delve and deep dive into Instagram, Reels, video creation, and more. I'm finishing up the series next week in Spanish, but we will probably have another set in the next couple of months. So we walk you through the creation, generating and promoting, and what to share and how to share it appropriately, where to get images from, maybe how to use products like Canva and other to be able to prepare items. So if you're into social media, or you need a little nudge and you want some assistance, all of your Miami trainers are ePro, which is a designation regarding electronics and being on email and certified in social media. And we'd love to share the information that we've gathered and what we've learned. You know that social media is ever evolving and changing, and we're trying to change with the times, and that's why our class has changed. So we invite you to that too. I'm going to come here into our Facebook, and I'm going to go ahead and right click and copy this. So this would give me my URL, come back into Remine and paste in Facebook. And I can do the same for Twitter, for YouTube, for Instagram, and for LinkedIn. I'm going to open up LinkedIn 1 second because it's one of those sites that I sometimes worry. I don't want you to send LinkedIn and send them the feed. Never send something that says feed or news. Always be careful that, okay, this is where you are. Make sure that you click and that you're showcasing yourself, right? So this is the LinkedIn that you would copy. This is your profile page, because normally when we come into the feed viewing the others we follow, correct? So you want to make sure that you're taking them to your profile. So open up your profile and go ahead and copy that URL. That's what you would come in and paste. Okay. Now WhatsApp, you all mentioned that you are users. Do you all know your WhatsApp item, your link like this, or should I share it via the chat so you would just take out my phone number and put in yours? How about I just do it and you decide? And actually, I can make it even easier. I'll just copy the portion that you need, and then you would put the numbers right behind that. And the reason I'm sending this to you is even if you don't use Remine, and I'm gonna turn on the camera for a second. Can you see me? Because I've made it so I can't see myself on the screen.
Yes. Yeah, we can see her.
Okay. I stopped and I'm talking to you and I wanted you to see me on this. Even if you don't use this on Remine, if you have any website and there's a way for you to add a call to action button where they can write to you on WhatsApp, or you can put a link and provide WhatsApp, even in your email signatures, you should do it because most of us communicate through WhatsApp. And guess what? It always works. And I sometimes think it's faster than sending a message. So that's why I took a minute and I send it to you because some of us don't know how to get that. And I don't want you to be without. And that's why I turned on the camera because I wanted to make sure that you do use it. And what I mean by creating a link in your email signatures is you can put, let's connect via WhatsApp, highlight the whole thing and hyperlink it to the link that you would create with this. And then from their cell phones, they can click and connect to you. Wouldn't that be just great? Right? You could just put the link, but you could put something like that. Let's connect via WhatsApp and provide them the way to do so. Okay. Once you finish adding all of this in, you would click on save. And then you can choose for if you want your listings to display or recently sold, if you want to get offers through the system, any notifications if you want them to come through, right? And then you have a pro plan for being a Miami member. And there is a mobile version that you can take of the class. So this was the setup portion. Now, what's next? On the daily, this is one of the things that I do like a lot. You can come and make it so it tells you what the weather's like in your area by simply clicking. Yeah, you click on the little gear and you put in your zip code. So what's the zip code for you guys? Someone who would share or one that you like?
33178.
Excellent. So I'm going to go ahead and click enter on that. By the way, some of you may like Celsius versus Fahrenheit. You can switch that as well and then click done. So it's 86 degrees and sunny in 33178. Since you've shared that with me, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about this area and show you how you can zone in on zip codes with this. It does tell you what saved searches you have, whether they were for you or your customer. It does give you your office listings or your listings, and you can choose the status, like all statuses, active, under contract or not. Now, remember, this is for you, the realtor. This is currently the market pulse and what's happening. Now, let me move my chat over 1 second so I can show you in the last 30 days, the activity that there's been in the MLS, the average valuation estimate, and the absorption rate to listings in the MLS. Now, this market pulse is something interesting, and we can have this by zip code. So if you are interested in a certain zip code, you can actually add this by coming to the very top and clicking to add a new card, right? And selecting market pulse, or coming to the gear here, right? Let me show you from here, gear and duplicating a card. And you can duplicate most cards and add them in. So let's say that I'm interested in 33178. I can click through here and I can make it talk to me just about 33178. I can click enter and I can see what's happening today, yesterday, the last 7 days, or the last 30 days. Last 30 days tends to be nice because if I'm talking to someone about the area I work in, it is nice to be able to say the average valuation estimate is 428K and the absorption rate in the area is of 17 days. So if you see something, act fast. So any other zip codes that may interest you, you can share it via chat. If you're shy or you can't speak, or you can go ahead and tell me. 33314, excellent. So I'm going to switch it over here. Okay. Click enter and then give it a second. And here you have your valuation. Look how quickly properties are being absorbed in that area. Lavinia, did I say it right? Lavinia?
Yeah, Lavinia. Yeah.
It's quick, right? There's no playing in that area. 8 days. 340K, right? It's moving. Let's do one more. You know what, Diana? I'm going to show yours for something else. Watch. I'm going to come here and I'm going to scroll down and there's a listing update area. Now, this right now is showing everything in the MLS. But what if I wanted listing updates for 33139? Well, I can come here and duplicate and come to the very top. And instead of the all, I can click through and put 33139. Click enter. And this is actually one of my favorites. Now for this one, for listing updates, if I have a hold on my area, I don't want 30 days. I probably want 1 day, correct? And look what's here. We have a couple coming soon. One active, right? They still haven't put the photo in. Another coming soon. Another active under contract, a hold, and active. Just want you to see, right? And let's see. I want to take a peek at this one. Since it's a listing update, guess what? I can simply click on the address and say, ooh, my customer may like this, or I know what that building is. I can come into here. I can see the activity, right? I can actually message the agent if I want. I could come and create a CMA in the system. I can see all the photos that are in the MLS. There's 11 more. I can navigate them, right? Now, here's another thing that I can do. Sometimes you see this and you need a way quickly, right, to get it to your customer. I can click to share and I can send it to them by email, but get this, I have a link. If I copy the link, I paste it in. I'm putting it in the chat for a reason and I'm going to show you. Many of us are very, very wary, and when we want to share something with our customer, we want to make sure that we are in the forefront and always show, correct? So I want you to see this. I can actually open a tab and I'm going to paste it in. And remember, I showed you that I went in, the first thing I did was go to the settings area on the lower left and make sure that my branding was in, logo, picture, contact details, etc. And this was the other reason why. Not only because you get that aggregator site, but also here is how it looks when I share it. No matter how I scroll and what I'm showing here, guess who doesn't move? Do you like this? Now, I teach an okay to advertise class, and it is great and it's easy. And sometimes we're looking for a way to entice folks, and we use, in combination with Agent 3000 and Remine and Proxio, different ways for you to be able to showcase and feature properties that are okay to advertise in the MLS. And this is one of them. Now, what's neat about this is that this is a URL. And if you've ever taken an Agent 3000 class, the part 1, that's everything free for Miami members, we teach you how to do a website screen sharer shot. So though you would share this normally, right? And you would copy this URL, like I pasted into the chat right now, and I shared it. If I were to put that on Facebook, I might not get the look I want, correct? Well, I can do a website screen share shot and it'll showcase this portion that's here on the screen. And then when I go to share it, this would show with my little photo up top, right? And I can put a message on the bottom, making sure that I'm featured with what I'm sharing. Wouldn't that be neat? Okay, so maybe a cool, convenient, quick way. I'm going to come back to the property a second. And I also want you to see that I can save it to a cart. Sometimes I'm perusing the MLS and I would like to save certain properties for my customer, maybe because they're an investor, maybe because I want to showcase something to them, but I don't want to do the whole search in an area. I just want a couple of properties. I can come and save it. I can create or add to an existing. So if I had an existing card, I could add it, or I can come and create it. And I'm going to call this one a sample customer. And I'm going to enter and add that property. So this property, I've just saved it to that cart, and later I can go to the cart and share it with my customer. So I can select different properties in different areas and say, this is what they're looking for. This is turnkey. This is ready to go. This is what they would need. Okay, so this is a great way for you to showcase yourself, to maybe conveniently look for stuff, maybe to create a report, etc. Something else I'd like to show is, what if you're going to show this property? And you know what? I want to take a different report. Ever felt that way? Something different to show the customer? No, yes, maybe. I could do a printout right here, and I can do an agent full or a client full. I could choose what details I want. So maybe I don't want to put schools or property details or the valuation. You know, I can choose what I like, and I come and I click on print. And let me make sure that you're seeing that. Yeah, you are, but just in case. Okay, and here's the PDF. Oh, it was prepared by, on the date you prepared it, property details. The Google map had a little error, but that's okay. You get the idea. Key listing details, HOA fee, tax detail, public record, flood risk, what is the beach, right? Demographic area, images for the property, courtesy of, courtesy of. It does not. It does not. And you can test one so you feel 100% comfortable, but it does not. I remember everything I told you about writing stuff and making sure it shows up. That's why I was saying it, because it will show in what you prepare.
So it's definitely safe to send this material without thinking that they're going to get the listing agent.
And Letty, you say that, and I think one more step. I'm going to show this customer, and they're not here, and I'm going to give them a virtual tour, but I don't think that's enough, because how many times don't we have someone who's buying who's not even here? Well, here I have some background to give them. This could be part of my presentation to a buyer. How about if I am going with them and I want to take something of substance, because I'm going to show 3 properties, not 26. So guess what? I can print this front and back and give them something to think about. I look like a great professional. It's all about me, etc. Irina, could you possibly send that to me, to my email, so I can send it to them? I've never seen that. We'll get it fixed. That's my email address. Just forward what you got. Okay. But what I'm showing you here is, I was giving you a couple of options, and my share, I didn't really mention the email here. I was talking about doing this quick. And I don't think I have you, Letty, on my WhatsApp, but any of you use WhatsApp on your computer?
I do.
So to me, if I find something like this, I would click on this here and I would paste it into WhatsApp and send it to my customer, or I don't know, someone on my team, and say, hey, isn't this what you're looking for?
Yeah, the link is awesome.
So the link is what drives this look. Okay. So sure. Just things to consider. And then the other thing that I did was the printout. It was from here. It was directly from the property. I clicked print. There is another version. There's a public record 1 page. All right. There's an agent full with all details for you. That one would have the listing agent's info. There's the client. This is the one I suggested. Alrighty. And then there's a gallery view, which is just images. And again, I'm giving you like a overview of Remine. I'm spotlighting. And thank you, Irina. I'll check that email when class is over. Okay. But and we'll get it to them and I'll keep you posted. But I like the sleek look and the way that you can get things to them quickly, to your customer, whoever you need to communicate quickly. Right. And by the way, this was all it just started. I'm here on my daily and we used, was it Diana's? Yes, it was Diana Gaia's listing update. I made sure to include everybody that provided me a zip code. Okay. And that was just a getting started page. This is the market pulse. You can add as many of these cards as you like. You can get and click and get information directly from here. The next item over is a search. You can search the system. You can do a property search, remembering that this is a tax data information, and you can do a listing search. You can add filters to search like in the MLS for residential or commercial. You can search by status, active under contract, pending, canceled, closed, etc. Right? We can click to look at active if we needed to. We could come and search by schools, by neighborhoods, by by zip code, etc. So let's say you were looking for a specific school. You can type the school in, scroll down, select the school, and it will denote the school area. Any of you encounter that someone will tell you, I want my son or daughter to go to ABC school. If it's a public school, the school boundaries will show up to help you search within that school boundary, right? And then you can continue to add your criteria. And here on the right-hand side, you could see, right, a list of the properties. You could choose to see map or you could choose a list view, whichever of the two works for you, map or list view. Okay, you can clear your filters here and start a new search. If you're interested, let's say, in zip code information, and one of you gave me a zip code, so I'm going to come back up and try to use one of them. Let's do one that I'm not very familiar with, 33314, and that's Fort Lauderdale, or a segment of Fort Lauderdale. And here we go. I can come into that area. I'm going to move my chat for a little bit, so bear with me. If I don't see your questions, I'll try to peek. Here's I have the listing information, and I'm going to come and add a filter first, and I'm going to search by status active, right? And we'll start to see that active items show up here, and I'll add a filter item and listing type, residential for sale or for lease. Let's say for sale, right? And then I start to see the items here, and I can come to advanced on the top and add a list date, a status, a price, right? So let's say maximum 800,000, right? And I can come back and see my map or my list results. I could put property type, residential lease. I can put senior community, yes, no, which would be HOPA, beds, baths, etc. And I'm going to come to my map results because I like to look on the map. I can see where they're located. I can see them here. I can save my search. So I can click to save it. I can name it. Right. I can share it or associate it to someone that I have on my list already. I can say if I want it daily, ASAP, weekly, or never, choose to receive an email and save the search. It'll bring me back over. I can scroll and see the information. If there's one that catches my eye, I can open it up by clicking on the property. And again, I can share it as I had shown you. I can see property details, agent info, showing instructions, the contact details for the listing agents, key stats, lot size, square footage, public record information. I can see parcel details. Okay. Flood risk, if there's any, in the zone. Have you guys heard about Cartofront and what they offer to Miami members?
I have not.
No.
Cartofront is integrated to Matrix, but it's also a product that you can use as a Miami member. They have a landing page and they'll give you a quote on listings that are in the MLS, and they're working now currently to soon provide us even listings for properties not on the MLS. There are some huge changes that took into effect late last year that are going to affect flood insurance for this coming year. So they even have a booklet that you can provide, etc. Location of the property, street view if available. Okay. So you have all of that here. You can check for plat if they have occupied. So it is occupied by the owner. So you have all of these details, property history, mortgage history on the property, schools, valuation, demographics. And then some of you may be interested, but they have some air DNA detail here. And you can click to learn more and get more details. I see the chat. Oh, Cartofront. I'll write it in. And you can go on the website and just put that in, and it'll take you to their page. And they have an electronic book in English and Spanish for you to be able to share on social media. And they give lunch and learn classes for free, teaching you what's happening with the flood insurance. Okay. Next is demographics, right? And then for this, it's a listing. The owner information is unavailable because it's locked, but this is where you would be able to obtain some owner info. Now, again, we already saved this search, but let's say that you see this one and you know that that one customer that you're searching for may be interested in. You can select it, come to cart, and you see that you had it. You can add that in, right? Now I selected all, so I'm going to deselect. Come and just select this one. Click cart and show you that you can actually have a cart, right? Just for that one person to then share. Okay. So this is a search. Now I'm going to go ahead and clear all. And I want to talk to you a little bit about prospecting. So I think I'm going to search into here. And you're going to have to guide me a little if you could. And what I'm looking for is I don't want the big dots with lots of numbers. I want to be able to come in and you see how I start to see the blue dots, right? Well, the blue dots are indicative of properties that I would have information on, right? So I'm going to come and click on properties this time, not on listings. And you see how everything came up with blue dots? This is for prospecting purposes. Yes. Well, there is nothing like knowing your area, correct? So I'm going to teach you how you could use this to know your area. Now I have no clue about this area. So I love to use this when I don't know, because it's like, oh, really? So obviously, right, this is an area I'm not sure, but look, property value. I haven't clicked on anything. I didn't put a minimum or max. I just clicked on properties on the top. I, of course, had cleared my filters. I came to an area where I could see the blue dots, meaning that I could see, right, the property detail, right? And here I could see property value. Next, home equity. Now, the darker the color, the more what? Equity. It's like a burnt orange, right? And it's like, I don't know if that's peach. a burnt orange and almost like maybe a light brown or brown, right? Maybe I'm seeing it wrong. But those are the ones that have a lot of equity.
I'm sorry, Connie, how do you get to the brown? I'm sorry. So you got to get to the dots, yes?
Yeah, I was all the way out, remember? And I had
Yes.
showed you guys how to search for listings. Remember I had listings up here
Yes.
and I had filters. So first I had to clear my filters and the clear filter was in this zone here.
Correct.
Once my filters were cleared, I clicked over to properties. And then since one of you was interested in the area, I just moved and I started to zoom in. If I have the blue dots with a huge number, I'm not getting what I want because I want to be able to identify the property and see the breakdown, like the property lines. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Got to zoom in. I started to zoom in. You see the little plus sign?
Yes.
And the reason I picked this is I'm supposing this is a subdivision, right?
Correct.
So in that, like I could switch it to satellite view and here it's obviously a subdivision, correct?
Correct.
And the reason that I like to showcase a little bit subdivisions, and one of the great things about Broward is that there's a lot of newer, Broward is a newer county. Miami-Dade is older. So in Miami-Dade, in the older part of town, there's a lot of build-to-suit homes, while you have to go west and south to get these communities. While in Broward, they were planned and you have these communities. And what this allows you as a realtor to do is to really know the area because you can even know the model home. It's just a lot of fun. And as a realtor, and I appeal to your sense, how many times when we see a picture like this in satellite, did you see that I switched it from road map to satellite here? And you see a field and you see a parking lot and maybe this is, you know, the tennis courts and stuff. How many of us don't know our area and go, oh yeah, that's this place? Or you see like a set of palm trees and stuff. Yes or no? The rooftops are a certain way. So I always appeal to the way you see things. And even when you're not a realtor, you know the rooftops are a certain way in a certain area and the trees and foliage. And then, you know, this might be a school or a park or a baseball field or whatever. So you switch it so that it works for you. I teach that when I teach the MLS. Let me switch it back though, because we want to prospect. So you situate yourself and we're here. And now I already showed you property value and home equity. This is ownership time.
Perfect.
Now, if you wanted to select the people that are 20 plus, you would select it and you would click apply. But remember I told you I didn't know the area? So what am I doing? I'm scoping it. I'm looking first before I make a choice. So I'm going to remove this up here. I'm also showing you how you can navigate through. We have sales score, and the high here means already on sale or about to sell. And I'm going to click on high. Medium means in the next 6 to 12 months, and low means probably not looking into it. And it has something to do with what they're searching, with what they're doing, with what they're looking for. So these are high, and I'm going to apply. And we may see that those high, if I come over here, I may see that they've either have already sold, in the process, active, right? But there's one here that's off market. So this one is doing some kind of research and they are off market. So I'm going to be nosy and I'm going to click. And the owners here have been there for 8.8 years. And there's Stephen and Stephanie. And then you can read all of this, but guess where I'm going to go? Owners and associated people. And I have info here. And this is the contact information I've got. Letty, was this what you wanted?
Yes. So a couple questions on that. Obviously, we want to be super careful that no one's on a do not call list. We don't want to get sued.
The first thing that I want to tell you about that is that if it was on a do not call list, it would appear in red here, the phone number.
Okay. But we should still scrub it anyways. Just
you of course should always scrub it anyway.
Yeah. Okay. And then I did have a question. with that self score, because that's where I always kind of got stuck. So that self score is not, it doesn't have anything to do with the, like how the program actually calculates if it would be a good listing to go after or not.
What that does is it takes consumer-based data that's collected, and based on what that consumer associated to that address is doing, right? It takes the data and it says this person is investigating, is searching, is doing something that may indicate that they may be looking to sell.
So how, I mean, I don't mean to sound ignorant, but like, what exactly would that mean? I mean, how do they know? Like, are they checking on realtor.com? Are they looking to refinance?
They
How
have some
does the program?
information here on New Star. Remember that they do collect all the mortgage data that is shared. They do collect information, right? On how many of you have your phone open?
Yes, I do.
And even if you think you have it closed and private, the minute that you go onto a site and say, yeah, I want additional information, that opens you up. So what you're doing on your phone is being captured.
Ah, okay, good to know. Thank you.
And then what I do on my computer. I'll give you an example. I was looking to refinance a couple months ago. And all I did was work with someone that I know. And I must have gotten email and calls, and it's like, I'm not interested. Thank you. And it's because you're searching and someone puts you on a database, and then your info becomes available. So what it's capturing here is what the consumer, what the person is doing. Okay. And then here is what's information is open. Okay. I just think it's interesting, and then you can see it. And I showed you most of these when I looked for the 6 months, the high, they were already sold or rented or whatever, but we've got 2 right here that are high. There's more. I just didn't want to close the chat. Here's another one, and here's another one, and here's another one. So I can actually come into here and say this, this, this one, because they're off market. And I can come and create a cart and put them. Today's day is March 24th. Right? Add the 7 properties there and continue to search. Does that make sense? Now, I haven't seen these many in one place in a long time. Alrighty. You like so far? Yes, no? The
Awesome.
next thing,
Awesome.
you wanted to prospect and farm. Sometimes we want to get to know our area, and you have the ability here to see absentee. We can see a couple of them are corporate owned. Getting to the corporate owned may be difficult. We have owner occupied. Look how many are owner occupied in the green. We have absentee in state, and we have absentee out of state. I don't see really any absentee out of state here on screen. Thank you. And what I want you to see here is absentee in state means 2 things to us. Even the absentee out of state you could select, but I'm going to apply this and I'm going to leave them here. And what this means to us is the person that owns is renting. So if I put these people on a cart list, there are 2 potential mailers that I'm sending. One mailer to where the tax address, right, to the mailing address associated, and one mailer to that renter to say, I'm a realtor. I'd love to walk you through the steps to becoming a buyer. Correct? So that's how I view this. And again, it was absentee and then in state. Out of state, that sometimes worries me because that out of state could be out of country. And I don't know if you want to spend the postage in that regards. So, but that's a choice too. You could decide that you would. It is very powerful. And if you noticed, I'm in a community. And what's nice about this, and you'll see it in the next steps, is that you can take baby steps in here. So I'm not coming and telling you that I want you to spend $1,500 on prospecting and farming. I'm coming and telling you that if you work in this area, you can do this one this month and then move yourself on the map further up and do the next one. And guess what? In the year, cover your 3 to 5 mile area completely. Does that make sense? Without it being an overwhelming task. I mean, you could go large, no problem with that, but there's a choice, okay? Next, I wanna show you a flood risk just for you to have detail. And this area seems to be a mix of low to medium, right? We have building type. So if you're learning your area, you can see here single family, condo, townhouse, multifamily, or other. These are all single family. So what a great tool to learn your area. We have some multifamily here. Land use, what the land use is. So you have some public, right? Industrial, some commercial, right? So you could see what the land use is. Sometimes people will ask you, well, I'm buying here, what's this property behind? The next things are mortgage rate, mortgage age, last sale price, distressed deals if there are any, and I see 2 here. So if you work that, you could select all of this, click, and see where it is that they stand. One of them is off market. They may need assistance. This one, you can look into it a little further. Okay. And this is always fun. Who initially purchased cash? And this is to know the history of the area. There's always cash buyers. That doesn't mean that they don't have a loan now or something's going on. This was the initial purchase was cash. You like? Before I let you go, because look at the time. I want to talk to you that I did save a search and I want to show you, okay, that you can see your saved searches. Okay. They would be here. Your carts, this becomes a very big deal because remember I did that one cart where I was saving key items. Let's give it a second. So I have high sell score. So these would be the folks that I'm really going to look into each property and do what? Do a presentation, maybe do a mailer. And I can come here and export and print mailing labels. I can actually use a third party that's connected that gives me pricing. I'm just going to call it this, but you can call it whatever. Gives me really great pricing. Look at this, 7 pieces for $4.90. And they take care of, you know, I can choose a design, I can personalize it, I can order and they'll deliver. You can get a large postcard for 7 of them for $6.16. And you walk through the process, you put the color scheme you like, you go ahead and you put your photo, etc. And this is a solution, I think. And then the next item that I like to show you is if you're into data, you can export it and include all the columns and have the information. Now, I did have that one sample customer, remember? That I put a couple properties for them in my cart. I could go ahead and share that cart and email my customer. Okay. And you were looking for some solutions for prospecting. Here we were. There is an engage area where I can engage my customers that I have in the system. I can invite them, identify, provide them a free credit score. It's called the invite to one step. We can then exchange information and searches. They can mark favorites. We can see shared properties and save searches that they may do, right? There is a chat, but we chat through our system, so this isn't that exciting. And then we do have a contact area. And for you to be able to function in these, you can add your customers here. They're safeguarded, they're yours. You would put your contacts here. You can add a contact one by clicking and adding the details, or you can upload contacts if you have a CSV file and add them in. We are teaching this marketing portion, listing leads, buyer leads, digital marketing, and mail marketing, especially this portion here in our social media marketing classes. We've revamped them completely. There is a new series that I'm finishing in Spanish on the 30th, and Christy's done 2 times the English version. We'll probably have another set before the summer and during the summer. They are available on the YouTube channel for you to see. We do invite you to take part in that, but that's a whole other 30-minute, 40-minute presentation. And the social media series is actually 5 parts. So it's 5 classes of an hour or so. And with that, I leave you with a Remine, a taste for it. To me, it's something that I think all of you could use or make use of. I thank you for being so interactive and for participating with me. I do want to give you some details and information on your Miami trainers. So if you would give me a second, I'm going to send you some details on how to contact us, take courses. We are available to you. And it was a great pleasure. I really do thank Letty for inviting me. I hope that it was worth it for all of you.
Honey, thank you so much on behalf of the team. We really appreciate it. It was awesome, and we will definitely.
And I do understand that. Oh, I would love to be back, and I understand that it's spring break and in the afternoon, and it's beautiful outside. So I am triple honored to have been with you. Letty, would you like me to see if the recording went well? If I can share it with you, so you can share with the team.
Oh, please, that would be amazing, because that way we could really, dissect it and hopefully get some listings out of it.
Sounds fantastic. I wish you all the very best. You have a wonderful afternoon. Thanks again for inviting me and for being Miami members. Best of luck to all of you and many sales.
Thank you. Thank you, Connie. You're the best.
Thank you. Thank all of you.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye-bye.